Well, guys, yesterday I did a shotgun class. I haven't done just a standalone shotgun class in about 5-6 months or so. But yesterday, well, last week, prior to last week, a gentleman contacted me and he said he wanted to get in on a class. And I explained to him I don't do that many shotgun classes. I do more of your pistols and such and rifles, but shotgun is becoming more and more into the fold for home defense. And he wanted to get into it, so I had said to him, well, listen, I says, if you know a couple of guys that are willing to come in with you, give me a 3 days notice, and meanwhile I'll get back to you with a next schedule. But I don't start scheduling until I get somebody, like yourself. So, you can either schedule something now for 3 or 4 months away, or, see if you can find a few people. And that's what he did. He had found a couple of guys to take the class with him. So, if I had scheduled just him and nobody else showed, I would have done just him. I don't mind going to the range and training or teaching just one person. That's one more that wasn't trained, so it doesn't bother me. And actually, you don't make as much, but you're getting another person involved in safety. But now, that was yesterday, so I came home last night and I soaked the crap out of the guns. Now, I don't care for this Clean and Lube foam spray by Break Free. Break Free is actually by Safarilander. I don't care for it all that much as an end cleaner, so to speak. But what I do like about it, see, I normally use the dryer stuff, and then I'll lube it when I want to lube it, how I want to lube. But what I do like about it is, I got in late last night, I was beat, alright, so I was able to just put the shotguns here. I sprayed the shit out of them with that foam lubricant cleaner, and I was able to leave them here overnight and not worry about them. Now, I probably didn't have to worry about them to start with for one day, but I'm kind of a tickler when it comes to keeping my equipment clean. Let me turn down that TV. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So, and that was about it. So now it's time to clean those. And I gotta clean the 5.7 because I used that yesterday for a few minutes. What had actually happened too was this gentleman that started this little group, he had a little 380 Taurus, and his wife bought him a little laser for it that fits onto the front of the trigger guard. It's a nice little setup, and he wanted to get the red dot sighted in, which isn't a big deal, usually. But that little Taurus, even though it's a nice little gun, it is just way too small, for my hands and even his. Now, he was a smaller statute. He stood about 5'8" or so, after he put about 30 rounds through this thing, his hands started to hurt, so, it's just one of those things where you have to readjust on every trigger pull. And when you're trying to sight in a red dot, at the same time, it just makes matters worse. So, but we finally got it done. It took about 60 rounds to get it in play because we had to get him in play first. We had to get him on target before we could start getting the sight on target. But that worked out pretty good. But again, it's just one of those things to where, I just never cared for subcompacts. I know they're kind of like just belly guns, 10 feet or so, 15 feet. But the other side of the coin is if you can't hold on to it or you don't enjoy shooting it, you're not going to practice with it, and it's not going to be any good to you at all. So it was just you know. And he understood that actually after we talked about it, and he says he's just going to put that in the bedroom and buy another gun for Carrie, because that one there was just crazy. I let him try this one, the FN57. He fell in love with the gun, naturally. If anybody fires it, they do. However, though, this one was a little too big for him, because again, he had smaller hands and it just didn't fit his grip. So, but at that point, I got to clean that too, because we put about 20 rounds through it, you know. Actually, it was 20, because it was 2 magazines. The magazines are 20 round magazines, but we can only put 10 in them here in Connecticut when we're carrying. And because I carry this, I only had I had the 20 round mag, but I only had 10 rounds in each one, because I usually carry it. So at the range, we can fill them. And at home, we can keep them filled. But when we're carrying it, it has to be 10. So anyway, I gotta get back to cleaning the guns. So I'll catch you guys later. Oh, by the way, I don't know, I think I've showed you. This is the old Ithaca. Alright, the Deer Slayer or whatever it used to be back in the day. This is a 12 gauge. This is the Remington 870 20 gauge pump. This is the Mossberg, supposedly, 20 gauge semi. Now, the good thing about this was I take these guns with me, because I wanted to see the different gauges, and there's a 410 here, as well as different types. The only thing I didn't bring is any breakdowns or double, side-by or over-unders. But the good thing about it was, this one here originally would only shoot, high brass, high velocity stuff. And I've been using it, 10 rounds, 15 rounds here and there. And yesterday, after using it with the 3 guys, it actually started feeding target rounds, which was good. I put the target rounds in there only because I wanted them to experience it not ejecting the round, and they have to do it manually, but they didn't have a chance to experience that because it worked. So, and then they got the 12 gauge Benelli, and then naturally have the Mossberg 410. But anyway, those are the ones I took with me. So they started with the 410, graduated them up to the 20 gauge pump, and then I kept them into the 20 gauge. We went to the semi, and then we did some more talking, and then we went into the 12 gauges. All right, and even though this one and this one are both pumps, they're 2 different manufacturers, and they do have different characteristics. And the Benelli does have a bottom feed with a top eject, and the Ithaca does everything from the bottom. So, alright guys, let me get cleaning.